Hey guys, what's going on? It's Savis Roma bringing you all your daily dose for interactive sports talk radio. It's February 28th, 2012, and starting off, today is all about the Daytona 500. So if you watch the race and don't want to hear about it, if you watch the race and have your own opinions about it, if you watch the race and you don't like NASCAR, turn it off, or keep listening, it doesn't matter. Starting off, lap 2, just like they started off, huge wreck. Started by the 33 car of Elliott Sadler. He was bumping Jimmy Johnson a little bit in the rear, spun Jimmy Johnson out, and collected quite a few cars. It was what everybody decided to call the quote-unquote big one for this year. Although there was another pretty big wreck later in the race. Jimmy Johnson, Trevor Bayne, Danica Patrick, David Reagan, those are just some of the drivers that were involved in that wreck early in the night. It was certainly a wild and crazy Daytona 500. It was the craziest Daytona 500 I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them. Okay. It was almost like these guys had the same mentality about the 500 as they did the Budweiser shootout. Okay, just go out there and race. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're at the finish line at the end of the race. And they ended up wrecking each other because of that attitude. But I guess after sitting for 36 hours and not racing, after being ready to race, then, you might be a little antsy too. You might be bumming and banging a little more than you normally would after all that downtime to relax. Moving forward, though, on lap 81, Jeff Gordon had a pretty big engine failure. He'd heard a noise and immediately started waving his hand out the window to wave the drivers behind him around him so he wouldn't hold anyone up, cause an accident. Move that usually only comes from a veteran. They know when something's getting ready to happen, when something's wrong, something's not right. And Gordon definitely knew, because about that time, his engine just blew up in flames. All you could see was fire coming out from under the car. But that was not the most impressive fire, as on a caution lap, Juan Pablo Montoya had come out of the pits and cut a right front tire and slid up into the wall going into turn 3 and crashed into the back of a jet dryer. Now, the jet dryer was powered by jet fuel, and when Montoya hit the jet dryer, the jet fuel ignited. Okay? So if you could imagine, there's 200 gallons worth of jet fuel burning on the track and on the back of a Ford F-250 pickup. Okay, that's not good. It took NASCAR over 2 hours to clean up the... Well, it only took them about 20 minutes, I believe, to get the fire out. If that, honestly. NASCAR did a great job controlling that situation, getting the fire out, doing what they needed to do to be able to race again that night rather than just calling the race. But it took them a little over 2 hours to get the track back into raceable condition, which gave some drivers time to tweet. Brad Keselowski tweeted a picture from the driver's seat of his car during the red flag. He actually gained 55,000 Twitter followers during the red flag, being the only driver that had a cell phone on him and the only driver that was tweeting. It was actually kind of funny. All these guys are standing around outside of their cars and they all have baseball caps on. And then Brad's standing there with a cell phone, which you can follow him at Keselowski. Not that he's in need of any Twitter followers after last night. But the fire was definitely the craziest thing I've ever seen at the Daytona 500. I've never even dreamed about seeing anything like that at the Daytona 500. I've never, ever thought anything like that would ever happen. I've seen car fires. Jeff Gordon's car was on fire earlier in the night. His engine blew up. I've seen fires like that. I've seen fires, small, like one-car fires in NASCAR before, but never anything like that. That was crazy. It could have been very horrible, and it was very intense. So, glad everybody out there is okay. Juan Pablo Montoya got away safely. The driver of the truck that was pulling the jet dryer got away safely. Just a little shaken up, a little bit scared. I think I would be too. But that's about it. That's as much as the track took more damage than Montoya and the crew member, which surprised me so much because of the intensity of the fire, how big the explosion was when it happened, and just the force that Montoya slid up under the jet dryer with. His car actually submarined under the jet dryer. It was pretty crazy, honestly. I'm still kind of in shock about it. But I do have to move forward now. Matt Kenseth was the eventual winner of the Daytona 500. I told you guys yesterday that Mother Nature won. Well, Matt Kenseth took the lead, slapped her in the face, and took his trophy home with him. It was a good day for Roush Fenway, actually, because, Carl Edwards started on the pole, Biffle started second, Matt Kenseth won, and Biffle finished third, and Carl Edwards was actually caught up in a crash. But bigger news, not just Roush Fenway and their Fords and how they ran, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished second in the Daytona 500. He made a move late to try and get past Biffle and Kenseth, and he made it past Biffle before the start-finish line, but did not make it past Matt Kenseth. Ended up finishing second. He still has not won in 130 races, but definitely his strong performance in the Daytona 500 is something to be happy about moving forward. He is the only Hendrick Motorsports car that finished the race running. As you guys know, I mentioned earlier that Jimmy Johnson was involved in that wreck on lap 2. His car was totaled. They packed up and went home. Jeff Gordon had the engine failure on lap 81. His car was, of course, totaled. They packed up and went to Phoenix. And Casey Kane was involved in the late wreck. I believe it was within the last 10 laps. He was collected by Jamie McMurray. There's always bumping and banging and somebody getting loose at Daytona, no matter who's around or what's going on. But Junior was the lone Hendrick car on the track at that point, which was very surprising. It seemed like, team warfare was definitely going to win the Daytona 500. And it did. Biffle kept Kenseth in the lead long enough that, Junior wouldn't have enough momentum to get past both of them. Very, very brave and noble effort on Biffle's part, not, racing his teammate and taking the win out from under him. But teamwork was definitely key in Daytona, like I had imagined. My pick, AJ Allmendinger, went out in the first wreck on lap 2, and his teammate Brad Keselowski went out in the same wreck that Casey Kane and Jamie McMurray were collected in. So I picked wrong, but hey, it's all good. There'll be another race this weekend. There'll be another Daytona 500 next year. But it was definitely an exciting Daytona 500 on a Monday night in prime time on Fox. I think it's something that NASCAR needs to look into doing a little more, is, maybe a Monday night race. Or, maybe televising their practice sessions a little more. Televising more qualifying at night for night races. Definitely exciting, definitely fun, and definitely something that if you missed it, you missed it. You can't watch it again. It won't do it justice. But I have to run. Don't forget to check us out. IST Radio Show at noon Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that on our website, istradio.com. Follow me at save_us_Romo on Twitter to get a link where you can listen to the broadcast. Follow Andrew_Vidge on Twitter for a link where you can find where you can listen to the broadcast. I apologize. I had a little how do you say that? I guess brain fart here. Can I say that here? Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to. Either way, I'm going. This has been your Daily Dose, administered by me, the one and only Savis Romo. Take it easy, guys. Hope you enjoyed the Daytona 500.